What does it mean to be passionate? To pour your heart, soul, and hours into something most dismiss without a second thought. Why waste your time working on cars? It doesn't make sense. But passion doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for validation. It drives us to spend entire weekends wrenching under a car just to hear it start, or almost start more often than not. Now imagine pouring everything into an engine that no one believed in. An engine so tiny, yet so loud. So simple, yet so misunderstood. An engine that could have been forgotten as a technical curiosity if not for one company's relentless determination to make it work. This is the story of Mazda's Rotary engine, a story of David versus Goliath. And it all starts here in 1961 with a bold vision. In the early 1960s, Mazda was a small automaker in Hiroshima, Japan, trying to carve out its identity in a world dominated by giants like Toyota and Nissan. Licensing the Wankel Rotary engine in 1961 was seen as a stupid move. At the time, the Rotary engine was a novelty, an unproven design with potential but no real-world success. Felix Wankel's creation promised smoothness and high-power output in a compact size, but early prototypes were riddled with issues, overheating, poor fuel economy, and the dreaded apex seals that wore out faster than your patience when working on a rusted bolt. Many automakers experimented with the Wankel design and abandoned it, writing it off as too impractical. But Mazda saw something no one else did. For them, the Rotary was a symbol rather than an engine, a declaration that they wouldn't follow the beaten path, but instead create their own. The result of Mazda's determined belief was the Mazda Cosmo Sport 110S, the world's first rotary-powered production car. Its launch in 1967 was a bold move, but Mazda still refused to play it safe. They went all in. The Cosmo's development was so experimental that Mazda engineers personally road tested the prototypes for thousands of miles, ensuring the rotary engine's reliability. Their dedication paid off, and the Cosmo became a pioneering symbol of Mazda's commitment to innovation. Mazda knew they needed to prove their Rotary was more than different, and what better way to do that than in motorsports? The Cosmo made its debut at the grueling 1968 Marathon de la Route, an 84-hour endurance race at the Nürburgring. Yes, 84 hours, not 24. That's not just a test of a car, it's a real human madness scale. The car that took first place drove 9,450 kilometers in a single race.
That's about that much.
I bet the cars wished they were sent to hell rather than racing over 9,000 kilometers on the Nürburgring. And yet, Mazda's rotary-powered Cosmo not only survived but thrived, finishing 4th overall, outperforming teams with far more experience. For a company new to racing, this was nothing short of a breakthrough. After the Cosmo, Mazda went all in on rotary experimentation. They stuffed rotary engines into everything: family sedans, wagons, and even trucks. Cars like the RX-2, RX-3, RX-4, and RX-5 carried the rotary torch into the 1970s. The RX-3 was perhaps the standout of this era, especially in motorsports. In Japan's touring car championships, it became a giant slayer, regularly defeating the Nissan Skyline GT-R, a car so dominant it earned the nickname Godzilla. Just a plucky little rotary-powered RX-3 standing toe-to-toe with the Skyline and coming out on top. Nothing to see here. These victories solidified Mazda's reputation as the underdog that refused to back down. By the late 1970s, Mazda was ready to take rotary performance to the next level. Behold, the Mazda RX-7, a lightweight, affordable sports car designed to take on rivals like the Porsche 924. The first generation RX-7, known as the FB, was a driver's dream. It had a perfect 50-50 weight distribution, thanks in part to the Rotary engine's compact size. The Rotary allowed Mazda to create a nimble, agile car that outhandled much more expensive competitors. The second generation RX-7, the FC, took things further with turbocharging and more refinement. It was heavier and more luxurious, but still had the heart of a pure sports car. Mazda even claimed the FC was inspired by the Porsche 944. This is the moment most car guys know, the peak of rotary performance. The Mazda 787B, powered by a screaming 4-rotor engine, conquered the 24 hours of Le Mans in 1991. Let's put this into perspective. No rotary-powered car had ever won Le Mans before, and since rule changes banned rotary engines from endurance racing shortly after, no rotary-powered car would ever again. The 787B's victory was the greatest mic drop in the history of mic drops. maybe ever. The car's R26B engine produced an ear-shattering 700 horsepower, and its distinct sound was so loud it reportedly gave nearby competitors headaches. Imagine a swarm of angry bees on steroids. That's what the 787B sounded like as it tore down the Mulsanne Strait. But as glorious as this victory was, it also marked the beginning of the end. Rule changes and the Rotary's inherent inefficiencies made it increasingly difficult to justify its use in racing. In 1992, Mazda unveiled the RX-7 FD, a car that would define an era. With its flowing curves inspired by nature and an almost perfect 50-50 weight distribution, the FD was both beautiful and dominating the road. At its heart was the 13BREW, the first mass-produced sequentially turbocharged engine, delivering up to 276 horsepower in its Japanese spec. This groundbreaking system reduced turbo lag while delivering a power band as smooth as silk. The FD had the more power, man, and the balance with a weight of just 1,300 kilograms. It danced through corners like no other car in its class. Yet, beneath its brilliance lay quirks. The turbo system was temperamental, and reliability depended on meticulous care. But for enthusiasts, these flaws only deepened their love for this Rotary icon. The love for Rotaries only kept on growing. In Initial D, Kisuke and Ryosuke Takahashi's FD3S models became icons of toge racing, showcasing the car's agility and power in Japan's mountain passes. Later, Dom Toretto's red RX-7 and Hans Veilside FD from The Fast and the Furious fixed Rotary's place as a star, inspiring a generation of car enthusiasts. These appearances sparked a global fever, skyrocketing demand for the FD in the aftermarket scene. Even today, its pop culture status and unmatched performance ensure it remains one of the most desirable JDM cars ever made. The RX-8 was Mazda's attempt to keep the Rotary alive in the 21st century. It introduced the Relentless engine, which solved some of the Rotary's quirks, like emissions and fuel efficiency, without sacrificing its compact design. This engine was a marvel of engineering, just on paper sadly. The RX-8, while it wasn't a failure, struggled to capture the magic that made the RX-7 an icon. As emissions regulations tightened and the Rotary's inefficiencies became harder to overlook, the RX-8 marked the end of Mazda's Rotary-powered road cars. Production ceased in 2012 and enthusiasts were left wondering if the Rotary would ever return. In a surprising twist, Mazda announced in 2023 that the Rotary engine would actually return, not in a sports car, but as a range extender for the electric Mazda MX-30. This modern Rotary is tiny, efficient, and designed to generate electricity rather than power. I'm sorry, I can't do this. It wasn't what we expected, and it was miles away from what we wanted, but it's not as bad as people think. We surely don't want Rotaries as generators, but Mazda showed us the Rotary isn't dead or forgotten, and they refuse to let it fade into a distant memory. Maybe this humble rebirth is just the beginning of a larger Rotary renaissance. Mazda recently confirmed the production of the iconic SP, a retro-futuristic sports coupe powered by an electric motor with a rotary range extender. Revealed in 2023, it's no longer just a concept. Design chief Masashi Nakayama emphasized its real-world intent, saying, "This isn't just a show car." The iconic SP pays homage to Mazda's Rotary legacy with its clean lines, pop-up headlights, and meticulous engineering. This modern interpretation reflects the same spirit of innovation that debuted with the Rotary-powered Cosmo Sport, connecting the brand's revolutionary past with its future. Passion isn't about practicality, it's about pushing forward when everyone says you're crazy. Mazda's Rotary journey has always been about defying the odds, turning dreams into reality, and proving that innovation knows no boundaries. And while its future isn't clear, one thing is, the Rotary isn't over. Not quite yet.